Good morning, second grade math students. How are you doing today? It's great to be with you. And I'm here to continue our learning with adding three-digit numbers and place value. Okay, let's get started. So today we're going to work on 10-5. And yesterday the video was for 10-3. And I looked over at 10-4. And 10-4 is just asking you to continue to add using models and place value. So I'm going to have you do 10-4 at your own pace. Okay, and I'm going to move and shift to 10-5 because that is introducing a new concept. Actually reintroducing, because it has to do with partial sums, and we used partial sums when we added two-digit numbers. So now we're going to apply it to three-digit numbers. Okay, so we are on page 449, 10-5, and I've written out the I can statement. And you're going to need your workbook and your whiteboard and your place value chart. Place value chart looks like this. And pencil and paper if you don't have a place value chart to draw one. Okay, let's get started. Here's the I can statement, and you could read along at the top of your book in the right-hand corner. I can add three-digit numbers using place value and partial sums. Once again, we're on 10-5, page 449. I can add three-digit numbers using place value and partial sums. Okay, put that right there. And there's some vocabulary you're going to need to know, and or just review in partial sums. Partial sums is when you put your three-digit number into groups of their hundreds and their tens and their ones. So I call that expanded form when you put it into the expanded form. Sum, and that is the total in an addition problem, so your answer in an addition problem when they ask you to add. Place value, and the place value shows you what digit, where your digit is. So if you have a 1 in the tens, it's worth 10 ones. Okay, and then regroup. In regroup, we know as making an exchange, and when we regroup, we make a bundle, just like we did with the straws and the rubber bands. And we regroup when there's 10 ones, a two-digit number in the ones column, and then we make it a 10, and we make that exchange. And we also do it now when we have 10 tens in the tens column. That becomes a three-digit number because 10 groups of 10 is 100. Okay, so that's your vocabulary. So let's go ahead and get started with our solve and share on page 449. And I'll read it to you. I don't have a workbook anymore, so I can't show it to you. I just have my teacher's guide. So you'll have to read along in your workbook without seeing the words. On Monday, 248 people visit the museum. So go ahead and circle 248. On Tuesday, 325 people visit the museum. So you circle 325. And always circle the important numbers. How many people visit the museum on Monday and Tuesday? So they want you to add and get the total for the people that visited. Solve any way you choose. Be prepared to explain your thinking. So the way I do partial sums, and partial sums is a strategy that works. A strategy means that it's a method that you use and it works every time. And so partial sums is to expand it, and this is the way I have I do it, and it works for me, and it might work for you. And then I'll show you the second way that they show you in the book, and you can choose which one works better for you. But you'll need to know how to do both. Okay, so we have 200, two 200s, and it's written in 200, and then we have 4 10s, and that's written like 40, and then we have 8 1s. And we have to put our plus sign there because all of these numbers added together will equal 248. And then we have 300 plus the 2 10s and 20 and the 5 ones. And then you draw something called your sum line, and then you make the plus sign, because that's what they want you to do, is plus. Okay, and you start on the right, and it's 8 plus 5, and that makes 13. You bring down the plus sign. 40 plus 20 makes 60, and you bring down the plus sign, and line those up very well. And then 200 plus 300 is 500, and you bring that down, you bring down your equals, and then you add it. And here I see I have to make an exchange. I have to, because this is really 10 plus 3 now, because it's a 2-digit number. So I will add the 10 to the 60, and that makes it 70, and that leaves me with 3 here. Okay, so I have 3 plus 70 plus 500 equals 573. Okay, and this is how I do partial sums. Okay. Right, and now I'm going to show you the second way, the way they show you in the book. And in the book they use the place value chart, and turn your page to 450. And we're at the visual learning bridge. Oh, I'm sorry, we're supposed to explain our thinking. So when you explain your thinking, you would explain by saying 8, you would talk it out just like I did. 8 plus 5 equals 13, 40 plus 20 equals 60, and I know that 200 and 300 equals 500. And then when you add them all up, you will add up all the place value, that's an important word to use, you will get your total of 573. So it's important to use the vocabulary place value in there when you add up all of the place value digits. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead to the visual learning bridge, and we have your place value chart, so get that ready or draw one. Okay, and they want you to add 257 and 384. I need a backing here. And they have it, so it's a grid. I don't have a grid, but I did write out the hundreds and the tens and the ones, and that's how they want you to do it. So whereas I expand it into expanded form, they want you to line it up underneath in the place value column. So they will add the hundreds first. So 200 plus 300 is 500. And you see you have the hundreds here. And so you add the hundreds first. It's 500s, and there's 0, 0, and the tens and the ones. Then they want you to add the 5 tens and the 8 tens. And 5 tens and 8 tens equals 13 tens. And we can't forget the 0 over here, because there's 0 in the ones, but there's 13 tens, which means we've regrouped. We've put 110 tens into the hundreds column. And then the last column, so we did this one and we did this one, is the ones column. And we're going to add 7 plus 4, and we know from our fact fluency that that's 11. Okay, and then here's your sum line again. Okay, and down there is where they want you to write the sum. So now you will start with the ones. So 0 plus 0 plus 1 equals 1. 0 plus 3 tens and 1 10 equals 4 tens. And 500s and 100s equals 600s. So your total is 641. And this is how they do partial sums in the book. Okay, and we have just enough time to do the guided practice. And the first guided practice, number 1, they're asking you to do it in the place value. So we will go ahead and do it the place value way. the place value chart way. Okay, so we have 425 as the top number. And then the next number is 148. Okay, so remember, we add the hundreds first because that's what's on top. And it shows you that. It's there. It's in the word form. And I didn't have enough space to put it in the word form, but it's in the word form on your grid in your book. So we'll add the hundreds. So 400 and 100 equals 500. Okay. And 4 tens and 2 tens equals 6 tens. Okay. And 5 ones and 8 ones equals 13 ones. So now we go down and we add the ones column first. 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 3. 0 tens plus 6 tens and 1 10 equals 7 tens. And 500 plus 0 hundreds equals 500. So your total is 573. Okay, and that's the book way. That's number 1 in guided practice. Number 2 in guided practice, let's practice the way I showed you, my way. Okay, and they even line it up for you, 394 and 276. So let's do the equal sign. And we're going to expand it out. So we have 300 plus 90 plus 4. 200 plus 70 plus 6. Draw the sum line. Put the addition symbol. 6 plus 4 is 10. 90 plus 70 equals, well, we're going to regroup. So we have 0 and 9 plus 7, like we did in flat fluency, is 60. And now we have 16 tenths plus 300 and 200 is 500. So now we're going to do some regrouping. So we have 10 plus 160 is 170 plus 500. And now we're going to have 70. And then 100 plus 500 is 600. So you see where that comes from? This is the hundreds. Okay? And that is also partial sums. But instead of doing the grid with the hundreds chart, with the place value chart, you are doing expanded form the way we practiced it last unit. Okay, and if you were in my class, we did it every morning with our number of the day. All right, so please work on 6. The rest of the work, the independent practice. And I'll see you tomorrow for 10-6, I believe. For 10-6. And in 10-6, you're going to be explaining your addition strategies. All right, so have a good rest of your day, and good luck. Get it all done, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, take care.